Looks like Santa has some competition in the game department this year. Whether you're slaying enemies, building virtual worlds, or scoring big in new takes on classic card games, there's a perfect game for everyone on your list. Joining us now to level up your holiday shopping and review the year in gaming is the ultimate player one himself, Shay Rucker. Rucker is president and CEO of the Saskatchewan Esports Association. He's also a video game collector and historian, and he joins me in studio. Hi, Shay.
Thanks for having me again. You always give me like such a really, it gets more bolsterous each year.
Oh, that's great.
Intro,
well,
so
we
thank
appreciate
you.
you coming in the midst of a snowstorm. What was this year like for gaming in the province?
This year was surprisingly awesome. One of the biggest things that happened in the province is there was a massive game that was released by a solo Saskatchewan developer called Local Thunk. It was a game called Balatro, and it was nominated for a Game of the Year award at the Game Awards, the only North American game to even be offered, let alone Canadian or anything. Yeah, it didn't win Game of the Year, but it did win Best Indie, Best Debut Indie, and Best Mobile Game, which they just launched a mobile version of the game partway through the year too.
What can you tell me about it?
It's a strange game to describe. What I've been doing is I've been saying it's a sequel to poker. So he pulled that out from, however, so what he did was he said, okay, well, let's take what people recognize. They recognize straights, flushes, full houses, and we're going to put that onto like almost like a Tetris algorithm where there's just combos that you can do into other combos. And instead of having a handful of 3 with the river, you end up having 5 to 8 with combos and different multipliers that you get randomly that, all kind of make this addicting loop of more cards, more combos, 5 of kinds or greats, and
And this sounds like a pretty big deal for the industry in this province to get this kind of recognition.
Deal. Yeah, not even in the province, but in Canada. But, Saskatchewan has a lot of really great talent in the games development, and that's not my purview. There's a lot of great game developers that can talk to that more, but it's amazing when we have homegrown talent, anything culturally, whether it's music or movies or games.
Yeah, and future opportunities for young people, too, who might dream of doing a job like that one day. What were your favorite games this year?
Favorite games. So the Final Fantasy VII has a remake series that's been going on. They just released the second out of the trilogy that's in there. That was stellar for sure, as always. Sony released a old school platform game that not a lot of companies have been doing besides Nintendo called Astrobots. That one actually won Game of the Year at the Game Awards this year. That was a lot of fun. And then one I wanted to talk about, because I know you're such a huge Zelda fan, is Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, in which you actually play as Zelda, not
Finally
Link.
Zelda.
Finally Zelda.
Not just Link, who's out to find her.
There was one that wasn't developed by Nintendo where you get to play as Zelda. We don't talk about that one. So this is, yes, the first one where you get to play as Zelda.
I read online it wasn't that great. Have you played it? Do you know about it?
It's awesome.
Is it?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Good.
They're just haters at that
Okay,
point.
good. Yeah, I'll take your recommendation over theirs. What would you get for game-loving kids?
Game-loving kids, go with the classics, right? Mario Kart 8 is still one of the best-selling games year to
Mario
year. Mario
Kart's so fun,
It's
isn't
great,
it?
yeah. So like a lot of the Mario games, a lot of the Nintendo games. Zelda, obviously, is one of the great ones because it is more puzzle-oriented rather than action. So it's something that kind of gets your thinker box going a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other recommendations for kids or grown-ups?
So Astrobot is one that's for kids and grown-ups. It is stellar. It's
What are you
amazing.
doing in Astrobot?
You just go around, you're a little robot, and you got to collect your friends who are also little robots. And it's the Mario 64 collectathon type thing, but it's with Sony's kind of spin on it. And it shows a lot of the history of Sony and a lot of Easter eggs that are there for fans.
Anything for just adults that wouldn't be appropriate for kids, maybe?
Just adults. So one game that was released recently, if you're an RPG fan, another Canadian-made game is Dragon Age Veilguard. And it's open, large scope RPG where you collect party members. You go off on a massive quest, and it takes a lot of time, but it's a journey to go through with front to back with everyone.
What are you looking forward to for the next year in gaming?
Personally, for me, I love Monster Hunter. Yeah, so the new Monster Hunter's coming out, Monster Hunter Wilds, and that one's going to be cross-platform across many, many systems. And the genre of going out, collecting monsters, making stuff out of the stuff you get from the monsters to attack bigger monsters, that's a genre that's getting big, but this is what started it. And this series has been more and more popular every time they release a new one.
And so when's it coming out?
That one's coming out in March.
Okay, so it's already on your list.
That's my birthday, right? So
Oh,
I
yeah.
usually end up and they always come out around there. It's
Nice.
it's a game that's so popular, a lot of companies in Japan actually shut down the day to give their employees time to play this game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in and talking with me again this morning. Merry Christmas and happy early birthday.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.